Good afternoon, colleagues, distinguished guests, and students of Suan Sunandha Rajabhat University. Welcome to our international seminar on strategic sport management. First, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Assistant Professor Dr. Suporntip Phupaniat, Head of the Sport Management Innovation Program, for her vision and leadership in bringing this event together. As we look ahead, the World Cup 2026 stands as the largest and most complex tournament in football history, expanding to 48 teams and a record 104 matches across three massive host nations, the US, Canada, and Mexico. This historic event is deploying the most advanced sport technology ever seen, from AI-driven analytics to continuous biometric tracking. From a management perspective, this is no longer just a sport event. It is massive high-tech operation. Teams must navigate unprecedented cross-border logistics, extreme climate shifts, and an overwhelming amount of real-time data. But as sport managers, we know a vital truth: technology is only as good as the human executing it. If an organization cannot manage the human element, the technology fails. That is why our team today is managing technology and mindset for World Cup 2026. We are here to explore our elite sport executive strategically implement innovation while protecting the psychological baseline for their athletes and staff. To help us bridge this gap between high-tech management and human physiology, we are incredibly honored to welcome our international guest speaker today. He is an absolute expert in optimizing elite human performance, bridging the gap between sport science, physical conditioning, and mental resilience. Please welcome the founder and lead sport psychology at Full Sport Consulting and a respected international voice in sport performance, Dr. Raul. Dr. Raul, thank you so much for joining us to at the SSIU.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jimmy. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm honored to take part in your seminar.
Dr. Raul, let's dive right into our first management challenge. In preparation for the 2026 World Cup, elite teams are hiring massive backroom staff. We have data analysis looking at tablets, and we have sports psychology tracking mental fatigue. In many traditional organizations, these two departments work in total isolation from one another. From a strategic management perspective, how can a sporting director or general manager ensure that data analysis and sports psychologists communicate effectively rather than working in silo? And how do we get them to speak the same language to support the team?
That's a very good and timely question, Dr. Jimmy. Let me address a couple of points. First, I'll start with a general perspective and then I'll give some specific points. When we're looking at elite athletes, we have lots of attention for those elite athletes. Like Dr. Jimmy just mentioned, we have data analysts taking care of all of the physical parameters. We have psychologists helping the individual athletes be able to handle the pressure that comes with performing at high levels. But here's the important point. Sports performance is a system of connected parts. They're not separate parts. Data science measures the system. Psychology explains what those numbers mean for the person. They are not competing. There are two views of the same athlete. In other words, the data analyst and the psychologist are working towards the same goal. They have different tools, but it's the same goal, to help the athlete perform at the highest level. How do we get them to work together is the question. If we can provide a framework where the data analyst and the sports psychologist are using the same framework, then I think we can best help each student athlete. So let me give you an example. If a student athlete, an elite athlete, soccer player, football player, drops in performance, there's going to be people asking, what happened? The data analyst will show, oh, his cardiovascular endurance went down, or his strength is not so high, his speed is a little bit lower than last season. That's just looking at the numbers. The psychologist wants to understand the reason behind the drop. What could be happening to cause that drop in performance? It may not be a physical issue, but a mental issue. For example, there could be undue stress that the athlete is not dealing with adequately. So, if we have a framework for the analyst and the psychologist, for example, a framework that I have been working with is 7 dimensions. Every athlete, we want to measure, we want to look at him as a whole person, as a whole athlete. So we want to first take care of the physical measurements, see how well he's doing physically. But we also want to look at the mental fitness of the athlete and the emotional fitness of the athlete, the social fitness of the athlete, the environmental fitness of the athlete, the spiritual fitness of the athlete, and last but not least, financial fitness of the athlete. So when the coaching staff, when the psychologists, when the analysts are all working to improve individual performance and team performance, we want to measure all the different dimensions, all the different aspects of each athlete, and help them understand where they are strong, where they are weak, and give them the tools that they can use to improve each dimension. When all of those dimensions are improving, this is where I predict that the athlete will have the support to enter and experience the state of flow. The state of flow is a mental state, that state where the athlete is able to concentrate, focus for extended periods of time. His performance becomes automatic. It becomes less effortless. And they have an intrinsic joy of what they're doing. So when we help the athlete by providing the physical structure that will help the student, help the athlete develop each dimension and provide the environment where they can experience flow, that natural state where they can perform, they can reach their best performance. That's when I think we will see better performance. So the short answer is, let's have one framework that sports psychologists, data analysts, coaches, coaching staff, they all use the same framework. So they understand what each group is trying to accomplish and help the athlete reach higher levels of performance. And the important thing is when they're performing well, they're having the maximum level of enjoyment and satisfaction.
Thank you so much, Dr. Raul. Your framework is everything. Thank you so much. Following up on that, let's talk about the athlete themselves. Managers are asking World Cup players to wear tracking chip, sleeping ring, and biometric sensor 24 hours. Naturally, this creates anxiety. Players often worry that this data is not be used to help them, but later to evaluate their contact or ban them if their score look low. Physiologically, this destroys trust. So, my second question is, how can sport manager design and draft clear data privacy policy that actually reassure athletes that tracking technology is strictly for their health and recovery rather than a tool for penalizing them?
That's a very good question, Dr. Jimmy, and crucial for the performance of our athletes. Let me start with a core message. In general, people resist technology when they feel it's being used against them, not for them. The fix isn't more technology, it's more trust. Developing trust between the athlete, the psychologist, the data analyst, and the coaching staff. That bond of trust is what helps maintain a level of acceptance by the athlete. Here are some supporting points. Athletes need to feel ownership. A wearable feels safe when it's their tool, when the athlete feels that it's something they are using to help them, not that the tool is being used against them. So they need to understand that difference, and it has to be dealt with on a level of trust. Number two, education reduces fear, right? Much resistance comes from not understanding the data. Be clear about what is measured and what it's not for. So the role of the coach, the psychologist, and the data analyst is to explain clearly to each athlete what is the purpose of that technology, that wearable, that head sleep measurement instrument. It's not going to be used for making a decision about whether or not they're going to play. But again, coming back to that framework, these tools are for you. If you use these tools appropriately, effectively, they can help you perform at a higher level, and be more consistent with your performance. So the staff, the athlete, the staff, the data technologists, and the psychologists need to be transparent about the contracts. Okay? The biggest fear is this data could hurt me in my next contract. The athlete may feel that it's going to be used against them. If the education is there, if the explanation is there, and They show the athlete how they can use it to improve their performance. That level of trust will increase. They will feel more confident, more comfortable, and accept the technology which they can use to help them perform at a higher level.
Thank you so much, Dr. Raul, for sharing those invaluable insights with us today. Your perspective reminds us that in rapid evolving world of sport, innovation management, data and technology are powerful tools, but human touch, communication, and psychological safety remain the two foundations of any winning organization. As we look forward to 2026 World Cup, the successful sport manager will be those who can balance the power of the machine with the needs of the human mindset. To our colleagues, guests, and especially our students here at Suan Sunandha Rajabhat University, I hope today's discussion inspires you to look beyond the technology itself and focus on how we lead and manage the purpose behind it. Please join me in giving a warm round of applause to our guest speaker, Dr. Raul, for his exceptional contribution to our faculty today. Thank you all of your time, your presence, and your insightful question. Having a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much.
ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you so much.
ขอบคุณครับ